Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Dreamcatcher program. Before we start making our Dreamcatchers, I thought it would be a fun idea to read a book about Dreamcatchers. And our book today is called Grandmother's Dreamcatcher. The Jeep grumbles and growls along the road. The top is rolled down, and the wind lifts the corner of my bandana. Daddy and Mama are taking me to Grandmother's cabin way out in the woods by a lake. I will stay with her while Daddy and Mama find a home near Daddy's new job in Chicago. When Daddy turns, the road becomes skinny like a snake. I lean back and close my eyes. I picture Grandmother in her blue cotton dress with the little flowers I can only see when I'm close enough for a hug. Grandmother is Chippewa, like us. She is tiny and brown with dark, shiny eyes that wrinkle in the corners when she smiles. She is almost light enough for me to lift in the air. That is what I will do someday when I am a bigger girl. I will lift my grandmother into the sky. She will flutter and fly and sound like a bird when she laughs as we float above the trees. The jeep stops. It is night outside. Grandmother opens my door before I do, and I tumble toward her, half asleep. I lean against her as we walk to the cabin. The chilly night wind races through the trees and around me. In the copper pot on Grandmother's wood stove, water makes giggle sounds as it bubbles and boils. Heat pours from the stove, and soon my hands and face feel nice and warm. The grown-ups start talking. I snuggle down on Grandmother's green couch and drift to sleep again. This time, sleep is noisy and mean. Scary things that howl, whistle, and hoot like the night wind are so close. I scream and reach for Mama and Daddy, but in my dream they can't hear me. Kimmy, Mama says as she holds me, wake up, you're safe. With Mama's arms around me, I'm not afraid anymore. I feel her carry me to the bed in Grandmother's sewing room. In the morning, sunshine is scattered over my bed and Grandmother's floor. The grown-ups are talking in the kitchen. Mama's voice sounds different. I think maybe she's telling about my bad dreams. I walk into the room and see Grandmother holding a small circle made of wood. Inside it is a web of leather string. Feathers are on top of the circle. Some hang down on the string with silver beads. Good morning, I say. What's that? A dream catcher, Grandmother says. What does it do? I ask. Grandmother laughs. You'll find out. The dream catcher's beads shimmer in the sunshine while I eat breakfast. When I see Daddy with a suitcase, I feel sad deep inside. Mama gets her coat and I run to her. We'll only be gone a week, Mama says as they hug me goodbye. I give them my tightest hugs. A week is too long. Grandmother stands beside me. We watch the car grow smaller as they drive down the road. It's like another terrible dream just happened. I feel lost and alone. Come on, child, Grandmother says. We have a dream catcher to make just for you. woods by the lake, Grandmother and I find a green twig that bends. I find some black and white feathers. Back inside the cabin, Grandmother brings beads, leather string, and thin leather strips. She makes a circle out of the twig and ties the ends together with a piece of leather. I choose 3 silver beads and string them. Then I tie one feather to the string. Grandmother loops a long piece of leather string around and around inside the circle to make the web. As she works, she tells me a story. Before you and I had grandmothers, a Chippewa girl had scary dreams, she says. She would toss and turn and wake herself up with her own screams. I do that, I say. So her grandmother did what our people still do. She asked the Great Spirit for help, and she was given a vision of a dreamcatcher circle. It had feathers on it just like yours and mine, but the inside was empty. When this grandmother hung the dreamcatcher above her grandchild's head, a spider came down and made the web inside. All the child's dreams were then caught in that web. All the child's dreams were then caught in that web to go to the Great Spirit. Only the sweet dreams were permitted to go back to the girl. Did it work? I asked. Of course, says grandmother. After we finish the dream catcher, we hang it above my pillow. That night, I shiver when I think of Mama and Daddy so far away. Grandmother finds me. She sweeps back my hair as she rocks me. I am warm again. Somehow I am in my bed. I only remember my dream catcher floating above my head and grandmother's hands as she tucks my blankets around me. When I awake, I see my dream catcher turn in the morning light. Grandmother peeks in the room. I'm happy, grandmother, I tell her. My bad dreams didn't come last night. Grandmother's whole face crinkles around her smile. We go to the kitchen. Mama and Daddy will like my dream catcher, I say as grandmother cooks crispy fry bread. I think so, says grandmother. In your new house, the dream catcher will be in your room. I miss them very much, I tell her. Grandmother hugs me close. Kimmy, Mama and Daddy will come for you, she says in her quiet voice. Then you and I will surprise them. How will we do that? I ask. We will make presents for your new home, answers grandmother. Each night I sleep under my dream catcher. My dreams are happy and peaceful. Each day, grandmother and I are busy with our work. We sew beads on leather to make hair ties for Mama. Grandmother takes me fishing, and I find a special feather just for Daddy. We make a dream catcher for Mama and Daddy. But my favorite surprise is the picture I make of my family. There's grandmother, Daddy, Mama, and me under my dream catcher. Rainbow colors splash out of the feather. And when Mama and Daddy come back, that's the present they like best. The end. Now stay tuned and I will show you how to make your dream catcher. Hi everybody, it's time to make our dream catchers. So you want to make sure you have your ring If you picked up supplies from the library, you already have this. If you didn't pick up supplies, you can get this at any craft store or on Amazon. You're going to want to take some, I just used natural jute, they call it. It's just, brown string. I'm going to unravel a bunch so that I'm not fighting it. And you might also want to have some glue nearby, because we do need to seal off our. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to wrap our ring. So anywhere on your ring you want, just connect your string with a simple knot. And do it twice, that way you know it's going to hold. And you can cut any excess like this off, or you can just push it down and we will wrap right over it with the rest of it. So once you have this, you're going to just wrap your string around your ring. If you like the gold of the ring that we have, you can leave it loose like this so you can still see the ring, or you can pull tight so it's all covered like that. However you want to do. I'm going to speed the video up here a little bit so you don't have to watch me do the whole ring, but I'll meet you back here when our rings are fully covered. Okay, so I have my circle all covered, and I'm just going to tie one end to the other. So hopefully you left a long enough bit on the other end. If you didn't, you can always use a little bit of glue to secure your knot. I might use a little glue anyway just to make sure my knot stays tied. I'm just using Elmer's glue, but if you have hot glue, that would work too. Probably work really well. And I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, while that dries, if you kept your ball of twine all balled up so that it was easier to pass around, make sure you cut off any extra that you have. If you didn't end up with extra, you can just take some thread if you have some at home, or yarn, or any kind of string that you have. And I'm actually going to leave this tied up also, because what we're going to do, not the part with the glue, because we're going to leave that to dry. If you use hot glue, it probably dries a lot faster. But anywhere on your circle, probably close to the knot that you already have, you're going to tie another loop, and you want to make this one close to your ring. I would double knot if you can. Try and leave yourself enough slack for that. Boop. And we can cut off any extra pieces later. From here, I'm going to tilt you down so you might not see my face, but you'll definitely see my hands, which is the important part. You're going to go to another part on your ring. And this one, you're going to reach far so that you get, see how the string cuts through? You want that space. And then you're going to loop that through. That one you don't have to tie a knot in. It's just going to stay when you pull it. And you're going to go another spot around your circle. Make another one of those. See, now I have two. I'm going to go through again. Make one over here. And you always want to pull tight when you're doing this. Pull through again. And you can keep going on these and make a spider web effect, or you can knot them. So let's say I wanted to do the outer ring like that. The next one I could do over here. Remember, in the book it told us it was a spider's web, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Spider webs are not always perfect looking. But as you keep winding your twine, you will notice that it looks more and more like a spider's web. And you can go across. That's probably the easiest way. If you wanted to knot them and interloop these, you can. The easiest way is going to be just to go across and across, across. That's going to be the easiest way. You can make it more of a net. That is a little bit more difficult, and since this is an all ages program, I want everyone to be able to do it with no problem. So I would just keep wrapping until you get a nest that you like, or excuse me, a web. That one for me looks pretty cool. It looks like it will catch all of the good dreams. So you're going to want to cut that off. And you're going to tie it to your frame. I'm going to double knot that also. Make sure everything is super secure. Might need a grown-up's help with the knots, but that's okay. Now, what I would do now is go around and any of the extra pieces that are hanging that you don't like, chop them off with a scissor very carefully with a grown-up's help. All right, so there's our basic outline. From there, it's up to you how many strings you want to dangle. The one in the book only had one, so I'm just going to do one today. And this part is the part with our knots, so I'm going to make that the bottom. And I'm going to tie the string we want to hang to the bottom. Cut off the tail. And then I gave you some feathers in your bag, but if you want to go in your backyard and see if you can find a real bird feather, that's wonderful. If you have a long enough stem, I guess, on yours, you can tie it right to your string, which I will do with this one. If you don't, you can use the glue again. I'm going to cut off the extra string. Mine got a little funny, but you can make sure yours is tied the right way so it hangs down. And then you can also do another string over here and add your beads on. You can add a feather at the top. They had that in the story. And then to hang it, just use a little bit more twine and make a loop at the top. Put it above your bed and catch all of those good dreams so the bad ones go away. I hope you enjoyed making your dream catcher today. And they're a wonderful thing. And I hope that you come and read more about Native American history because November is Native American Heritage Month. So stop by the library and we have plenty of books about Native Americans and their history and culture. And this is one of my favorite things from Native American culture. So I hope you liked it too.